Hey little big heroes! Today I wanted to talk about an interesting strategy on how Media Molecule and Sony could release the final version of Dreams after early access is over, possibly even for free. If you enjoyed today's video, why not give us a like? If you're new to the channel, subscribe to become a little big hero. And don't forget to click that notification bell so you're always kept updated on the latest Dreams content. I've came across the idea of making Dreams free to play on a few occasions now. Jason Beard, with a comment in one of our videos, expressed this idea. YouTuber Grimble Grunger mentioned it in one of his latest Dreams videos, and again via Gentleman Tom, who put out a poll on Twitter asking which free or paid method people would prefer. But can free to play really work with Dreams, and is there another alternative? Free to play comes in a few various styles: mobile, MMO and battle royale games, but they have a very mixed reputation. Our first recollection of this style of game came during the rise of smartphone gaming. Many games would let you play for free and then either charge you for sections of the game or simply make it as frustrating as possible to progress without paying for something to aid you with trivial things such as removing fatigue. First of all, I don't think Dreams would go this far. It's very much a mobile gaming practice and entirely unwelcome in console gaming. However, we are seeing a lot of cynical cash grabs these days with games wanting to add this endless DLC loop of buying chests of gems and so on top of an already full price game. When I think about Dreams though, I simply cannot think of a way that they could sell DLC for the game. Anything they make could easily be replicated by the community. I'm not 100% sure if you can share your imp designs, so that is one way they could sell things to people who would rather have a custom design ready made instead of working endlessly on the design themselves. But come on, it's an imp, essentially a cursor for the game. In Little Big Planet you could get away with DLC costumes because Sackboy is far more than just a cursor. He's transferable across almost every level. And speaking of Little Big Planet, when the story level DLC would release, they contained materials, basically textures, music, sound effects, stickers and a bunch of decorations. With Dreams, none of this matters. As we said before, the community could easily replicate everything within the DLC pack. Little Big Planet had its limitations, which DLC could solve, but Dreams has very little limitations, especially not the same ones. So in my book, I just can't see how Media Molecule could release DLC for Dreams. The only way I could think of to increase revenue without DLC is through regular sequels, or if they introduce a way for creators to get paid for their games and films whilst taking a small cut for themselves. But this would only separate the community. That's something we'll touch more on later in the video. Another free-to-play model we have seen is through MMO games. They let you play for free, usually until you reach a certain character level, or they reduce the amount of characters you can create. It's also only the base game you get access to, so any quest updates would be inaccessible unless you paid for them. So if this was applied to Dreams, instead of making the entire game free, you could allow people to play for free, and they could then pay for the create mode should they feel the need. I personally don't think this method could work, as surely the player to creator numbers would be so unbalanced that the revenue from create mode wouldn't be enough. I don't have those type of statistics, and it's yet to be revealed how successful the early access will be in terms of sales, but generally the player count is higher than the amount who actually create. Remember I mentioned about separating the community? This would be another unfortunate way to do just that. Sorry, I can't create with you. I don't have the creator pack. I feel like it would be better if everyone were on the same level, and it would be a shame to see a player miss out on dabbling in create mode in case they did end up making something wonderful or just had really good fun. The most modern way to play for free at the moment is with the rise of various battle royale games such as Fortnite and Apex Legends. These games contain random loot boxes which give out mainly cosmetics. The game is fully playable without ever paying, since the cosmetics have no additional abilities. This is similar to the idea of selling imp cursor designs, but I just can't see this becoming strong enough to support an entire game, especially not one as ambitious as Dreams. I could only see free-to-play ever becoming a part of Dreams if the game is struggling to attract a wider player base, or as a time-limited trial during a weekend, or even an entire week with a discounted option to purchase. I want Dreams to become a prominent force in gaming, and naturally they do need to find some form of funding to keep them going with free updates. They could add new features which creators would have to pay for, but then they're limiting the full potential of the game behind a paywall. I'm very curious to see how successful successful Dreams can become and what the roadmap for future updates and content looks like. Sequels are the obvious choice, but they would need to be significant upgrades for people to jump ship from an already impressive creation tool. Maybe they can come up with some DLC ideas or have features released earlier for paying customers. It's all up in the air, anything is possible, but we should expect that by now considering that we are talking about Dreams. Do you think Dreams should be free with continuous DLC support, or sell the create mode separately, allowing everyone to play? Let us know down in the comments below with any additional thoughts you have, and we'll see you in the next Dreams video.